Welcome to Touchline Talk by Soccerspective. We highlight world-class soccer managers and translate their tactics for youth soccer coaches. So whether this is your first time coaching youth soccer, or if you're a seasoned veteran, or just a fan of the game, welcome to Touchline Talk. Welcome to Touchline Talk by Soccerspective. I'm your host of Touchline Talk, Brandon Faust. Touchline Talk is all about translating the principles, the tactics, and the play styles of top soccer coaches into accessible, practical insights for coaches of youth teams, high school squads, college programs, and anyone looking to elevate their approach to the game of soccer, especially through coaching. Each episode will spotlight a notable manager, explore their tactical philosophy, their leadership style, and key strategies on the field. After unpacking their methods, we'll finish with a practical drill or two or activity or three for your training sessions so you can implement these world-class insights with your own teams. Stick around to get hands-on resources that bridge professional level principles with the needs of grassroots soccer. Now, our Soccerspective YouTube channel has well over 20,000 subscribers, and we are here to build another weekly resource through Touchline Talk to connect with and empower youth and amateur soccer coaches. Hitting the like and the subscribe button to the Soccerspective YouTube channel. It ensures that you will always see when we release new podcast episodes and other coaching resource videos, which brings right to you all of the tactical insights and practical coaching tips. It's a win-win. You'll elevate your coaching game with valuable content, and your support helps us grow and create even more resources for the coaching community. Like our friend Jonathan, who is hosting the Soccerspective podcast, which gets into more of the perspective of the fans, gets into what's happening in European and international soccer worldwide. So please jump into what Jonathan's doing there on the Soccerspective YouTube channel. Now, today on Touchline Talk, the manager we're going to feature today is the new United States men's national team manager, Mauricio Pochettino. And we're going to look at their 1-0 victory against Jamaica from November 14th in the CONCACAF Nations League. Mauricio Pochettino, or known as Poch, is a renowned Argentine manager who has left a significant mark on European football through his tactical acumen, player development, and ability to instill collective spirit within his teams. From his days at Espanyol to his stints at Southampton, Tottenham, PSG, Chelsea, and now with the U.S. men's national team, Pochettino's philosophy remains rooted in maximizing individual roles within a cohesive system. In today's episode, we're going to dive into Pochettino's tactical approach, especially with the number 10 role, and how it could redefine the U.S. men's national team's attacking strategy, really focusing on the role of Christian Pulisic, who kind of might start as a wing and move into a number 10. Pochettino's history of molding creative playmakers, even think of the performances Cole Palmer put in last year with Chelsea, offers an exciting glimpse into how he might transform Pulisic into the team's central orchestrator. And we're going to give you some activities and drills that aren't just focused on the number 10 role, but focused on developing players with their first touch, helping them to learn how to scan, helping them to learn to find those kind of half spaces. So we're going to have 3 activities for you to do with various age groups, and not just with the number 10, but if you are working with number 10s, it's especially going to help them develop. So Pochettino, his playing career, it began as a no-nonsense center back, primarily known for his tenacious defending and for his leadership. His career included successful stints in Argentina with Newell's Old Boys, and he was part of the youth academy kind of set up there. Played underneath Marcelo Bielsa when Bielsa was there at Newell's Old Boys. And then he played in Europe with Espanyol, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bordeaux. Playing under coaches like Bielsa and Luis Fernandez shaped his understanding of pressing, positional play, and defensive organization. His coaching career, he started at Espanyol 2009 to 12. It was his first managerial role, and he guided a struggling Espanyol side to safety while introducing new young talents as well. His tactical philosophy began to emerge, rooted in pressing and in vertical play. Then he moved to the Premier League with Southampton, gained recognition for his attacking style youth development, helping players like Adam Lallana, who ended up being, playing for the English national team. And he succeeded as a number 10 in a creative way. And then Luke Shaw broke through at Southampton there before he was at Manchester United. Tottenham Hotspur, 2014-19. Pochettino really broke through here. Really sought after as a coach during this time from other clubs. Always rumors tied back to him. He implemented a high pressing system, and he nurtured young stars at the time in Harry Kane, Dele Alli. His tactical innovation included using Christian Eriksen as a multifunctional number 10, a player who really linked transitions and acted as kind of the creative hub for the team to allow players like Dele, Harry Kane, and Son to really thrive and to shine. Then he transitioned over to PSG in 2001-22. Had to balance a team of superstars, right? Neymar, Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and he really utilized Messi into that roaming kind of playmaker role that he would often do with his teams while maintaining structure in transitions. And then in 23-24. Although it was kind of a brief tenure, Pochettino's tactical insights, they were evident in his attempts to really rebuild a young Chelsea team that's centered around players like Cole Palmer, who really broke through. Now, Pochettino brings his expertise to the U.S. men's national team, a totally different project than he's taken on before. And I think it suits his strength in developing young players and fostering a collective identity, which U.S. men's national team, if you've watched them, they need a facelift, right? They need some changes, not some tweaks, wholesale changes. His familiarity with high pressing, dynamic systems aligns with their athleticism and the versatility that can come with some of the players on the roster. Now, tactics and kind of insights with Pochettino. He often likes to play a 4-2-3-1, but it can take different forms as well. His leadership style, it's grounded in trust, collaboration, and discipline. He builds systems where players understand their role and they have freedom to express themselves within this framework. He's really invested into pressing, and his emphasis on player well-being and fitness is critical for them to sustain these kind of high-energy systems. You'll even notice that at times when we're going to look at Christian Pulisic is that he kind of starts as in that 4-2-3-1 as kind of a left-sided winger or left-sided attacking mid, if you will. But then he'll kind of flex over into a roaming type role that looks almost like a number 10. And then when USA has to kind of get back to defend, to spare and give Pulisic his energy that he can use in an attack, then you'll have someone like McKennie move up to press, to be a second person pressing as McKennie moves into the functional number 10 to join the number 9 in the press. So we want to take a look at this in this game against Jamaica, this 1-0 victory, and it was actually the first competitive match. Pochettino's coached some friendlies. It was his first competitive match in a tournament framework, although the Nations League isn't like a World Cup qualifier or to that level. And what we see here early in the match, Pulisic starts as kind of the left winger, if you will, but has freedom to roam in this setup. And he shifts into like a number 10. He even finds himself sometimes on the right side of the attack. McKennie shifts over in the attack as well as the number 10, and then helps the number 9 press to give Pulisic freedom to roam and then move back out left. Pulisic gets involved early into this match, really early into this match, and sets up some 1-2 kind of passing moments, if you will, early on. What happens is what we see is Pulisic is actually checking way back, right? USA has the ball kind of in their defensive third. He has the freedom from that left wing to check all the way back into kind of like a deep lying number 10. You know what? You might see a 6 or an 8 kind of move into this space, and then helps the play get into the attack. What we have then is in the buildup, the United States has the ball. Pulisic is checking in and checking out of these half spaces. He's trying to find ways in which he can get into that half space, maybe even plays a return ball back to the midfielder, and sometimes that might even be a center back pressed that high. And then he finds, again, a little bit of a half space. And this time, instead of just playing it back and kind of lulling the Jamaican team to sleep, he decides to make a turn and makes a break and then gets into some space and finds himself slipping this through ball in to Ricardo Pepi. Pepi takes a good touch and then hits it into the bottom corner for a goal. And so what we really find to be critical here is then this number 10 is linking the midfield and the attack. The number 10 often drops deep, as we saw Pulisic did, to create overloads in midfield and then help look for that vertical ball. Where might there be space now? If Pulisic can't take the space himself like he did on this goal, where can he maybe find a vertical pass? Where could he find some sort of run from either a wing back or from a number 9 or from one of the other advanced attacking players? There's pressing from the front. The number 10 is often the trigger for pressing, closing down opponents in central areas. And sometimes you'll see those functional 10s interchange, right? Sometimes you might see Pulisic be the presser. Sometimes it's going to just be McKinney, so Pulisic can recover to the left side, but those guys will start to interchange a bit. And it allows for real dynamic positioning where you might even see in those half spaces triangles forming with midfielders and wingers. You might even see those wing backs or outside backs into those spaces, kind of like a functional winger might be. And there's a lot of fluidity in attack. But it's key that they all go together, that they're all on the same page, and they understand the roles within the system. Now, what I want us to look at is a few drills, a few activities that you can implement at different age groups and ability levels, if you will. And so the first thing that we want to look at here is we've set up a box with about 4 cones, right? We're setting up this little grid with 4 cones. And then we want to have 2 small goals, say about 10 to 12 yards away, not too far away. You could have like pug goals, whatever it might be. You could even use cones if you just have cones. 2 small goals, one on the left, one on the right side. And what you're going to do as a coach is you're going to play a ball into the player. In the middle of this grid, we see 3 cones. It's kind of a triangle in the middle. We want you to your player to move around those. Pretend that's a defender or some sort of group of defenders, if you will. And we want them to check into the box, move around the defenders, and then can they turn? And let's start with the right foot. So they're on the left side of the box. They turn with their right foot, turn basically to the outside, receive the ball well, and then can they play it 1 touch into that goal? All right, so it's kind of 2 touch maximum, 1 touch to receive, 1 touch to play. And this is just getting us used to moving without the ball and moving to the ball. Now, what we want to continue to add in is when they're checking into that space, can they scan? Can they scan? Can they look and see what's around them? Is there somebody pressing? Where do I have an open teammate? Where is the defender coming from? Where should I go with this ball? So just give them that script at the beginning. Scan, scan, scan. We want them scanning preferably 3 times. Get around that triangle inside the box. And then can they turn, 2 touch, play a ball there? Now they're back on the backside, okay, of the box. They're running around. And again, we're playing another ball in. This time, again, we're doing right-footed only. So can play it into their foot, and can they make a pivot turn and play it, once again, 2 touch into the box? You can add, have them switch to using their left foot only. Add skill moves. Can you do a pullback? Can you pull the V here? Can you do a step over here to create space, right? So to give them some options, right? Give them a script at first and then help them to learn their options. And what we're really looking to do here is to encourage scanning, encourage checking to the ball, encouraging a turn where we're taking 2 touch maximum and then playing it on target, right? We don't just want to play a ball. We want to play a good ball, a precise ball that's staying on the ground to our teammates. The next activity is a 5v1 rondo. And this is, again, just building in that principle. We're not just saying this is only for number 10s, right? This is for people developing their touch. This is for people developing kind of an appearance into those half touches. We're going to set up a grid here. We'll say kind of 8 by 8, if you will, 8 yards by 8 yards or 10 by 10 if you need to. We're going to have 6 cones, so a little bit bigger box, if you will. And then we're going to have 5 offensive players, all right? So 1 on each side, so 4 on the outsides, 1 in the middle, and then a defender in the middle. What we're trying to do here is the 5 players are trying to keep the ball away from the 1 defender using combination passes. The team in possession keeps score of how many consecutive passes they make. So you can start with a low bar. Say, hey, every 10 passes, every 5 passes is a point, right? And we're trying to play 2-touch here. So let's put some of those kind of challenges in front of them. If the defender touches the ball, then he can become the attacker, and the player who gave it away becomes the defender. So you can just kind of start like that. Now, what we can start to build into here is we want to get that ball into the box to that central player. You can now start saying, okay, you're only going to get a point for every time that the player in the middle on an attack completes a ball successfully to a player outside. So every time we get it into him or her and they play it back to the outside, that's 1 point, right? And we kind of keep track of it that way as well. What we're trying to do is we want the ball speed of passes of everybody on the inside and outside, sharp and with information, especially that person in the middle. Can they scan? Where's the defender? Where can I take a touch that's positive and get it to a teammate and play the way I'm facing? Can I get my first touch away from pressure? And then decision making. How many touches? All right, if I have a 2-touch maximum, can I play at 1 touch? If I can't, can I set it up to create a successful pass? And then movement to provide a passing lane. Can you find that half space? Can you slip behind a defender? And body position, always open to receive the ball and to play the way that I am facing. So this 5v1, you can add all kinds of variations in. This is getting a lot of touches for a lot of players, and it's giving everybody an opportunity to play in that central position. So make sure that you're getting that good rotation. You can keep score, right? All right, how many times when you were in the middle, how many points did you get and receive a ball and play it back to the outside? And you can make it competitive in that way. The third one is a 6v3 rondo. So now we are adding an additional attacker and we're adding 2 additional defenders. So now we're going to back up those cones a little bit to like a 25 by 15 box. We need now 9 players because we're going 6v3. And so what we're going to start with is we're going to have 5 players on the outside. So you can kind of have 2 on one line, if you will. And then we're going to have 1 attacking player in the middle against 3 defenders, all right? And what we're trying to do is the same principle. Can we get the ball in to that central player? Can we move the ball? Can we switch it around playing 1 or 2 touch? So now you may have to play it around the outside to find that inside central player open, all right? So you don't just want to play it into the box if they're not open. And that central player needs to be scanning, looking, where could I take a touch? Where could I take a positive touch? Playing the way you face is really critical here. And you can go for about 60-second rounds, right? And once again, how many times can they get it in and get a successful pass completed to the outside? Or you can keep track of passes, right? How long did you possess the ball? Could we get 7 passes? Could we get 10 passes without it being interrupted? Again, the ball speed of the pass. Am I scanning? Am I getting information? First touch away from pressure. 2-touch maximum. Movement to provide passing lanes. Even players on the outside. How can we encourage movement from them? If the central player has the ball, can we move towards them? Can we move towards the ball? Can we create space as there's now 3 defenders? And then body position open to receive the ball. And then understanding how and when to break lines, when to play a split, those kinds of items. So I want to encourage you, whether it's, seriously, whether you're coaching 4v4, 7v7, 9v9, 11v11, whether you're just doing a training specific to midfielders and you've got a few players out there or just your midfielders from your team out there, want to really encourage you, develop all of your players in this, but especially those who are playing in the midfield to get them comfortable moving into space, scanning, receiving a ball, and then playing it to a target with a clear design in mind. You're going to find that this translates really, 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 really well into off-ball movement, into that important scanning, and to developing game-like situations where we're playing 1 and 2 touch. Now, we could dive into all kinds of different things and Mauricio Pochettino's kind of setup and his tactics and how he that flexible formation of a 4-2-3-1, and sometimes it moves into more of that Christmas tree formation. Sometimes it moves where there's like 5 or 6 players kind of on that attack as he likes to play vertical at times. But what we see in his coaching style, and what's going to be interesting to pay attention to, is that we see more games that he has in charge of the U.S. men's national team is adaptability and role design. He tailors that number 10 role to fit his team's strengths, balancing that creativity and defensive contribution, that developmental focus, his ability to elevate players. Christian Eriksen wasn't well known, and then when he was at Spurs, now he's a household name, and continuing to play courageously. Watching his comeback after the Euros in 2021, the Euro 2020 has been phenomenal. Watching Messi embrace that number 10 role a little differently. Watching Cole Palmer at Chelsea embrace that number 10 role a little differently as well. And so that's all we have for you this time on Touchline Talk. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe to the Soccerspective YouTube channel so you can continue to get episodes of Touchline Talk delivered to you immediately when they are produced, as well as all of the other coaching resources we have on the Soccerspective YouTube channel and the Soccerspective podcast hosted by Jonathan. We want to say thank you, and we will see you next time on Touchline Talk by Soccerspective.